Rysuj jak taran, jak czołg, szuka swojego rywala!
What happens when David meets Goliath in the ring? In combat sports, size mismatches often lead to some of the most exciting showdowns. Let's dive into these intense battles, where giants face off against fighters half their size. First up is MMA Attack, featuring the Lithuanian powerhouse Robert Bernicka taking on Marcin Nauman. The bodybuilder kicked things off with a bit of showboating, taunting Nauman to exchange punches, knowing his own cardio wasn't a strength. When it came down to it, Bernicka charged like a tank, throwing every kilo behind his punches. By the end of the first round, it looked more like a brawl between two people fighting over the same partner. Thankfully, the chaos ended in round 2 when Bernicka landed a huge right hand, finishing Nauman off with ground and pound. But not every giant shares Bernicka's fortune. Take Hong Man Choi, who faced off against the much smaller Mighty Mo, where size wasn't enough to guarantee victory. These battles show that in combat sports, anything can happen. The Samoan fighter dominated from the start, landing heavy blows, until a brutal right hand sent the towering giant crashing to the canvas. The saying, "the bigger they are, the harder they fall," rings true, especially for Antonio "Bigfoot" Silva, who has experienced it repeatedly. Like in his 2022 bout against Zabit Sumdov. That fight wasn't even close. The smaller Sumdov rocked the skyscraper like Silva early, landing a right hand that set the stage for a violent finish. Silva was left hanging on the ropes like a piat at a birthday party, as Sumdov continued his assault. Bob Sapp, another massive beast, also discovered that size isn't everything. In his kickboxing match against Selçuk Ustbasi, Sapp's size advantage meant little. Ustbasi came at him like a pit bull, and it didn't take long for the smaller fighter to chop down the giant with a brutal leg kick. Sapp, refusing to get back on his feet, saw the referee wave off the fight after his corner threw in the towel. Time and again, these battles prove that in combat sports, size doesn't always matter. It's about heart, skill, and strategy. If size truly mattered, the 400-pound giant Tomasz Czerwinski wouldn't have folded like a deck chair against a smaller opponent. In their 2011 MMA bout, Czerwinski walked in brimming with confidence, as if he was about to crush Mark Potter with ease. But the moment the fight started, Potter unleashed his fists, and with a single punch, sent the big man crashing to the ground. Potter then followed up, pounding his way to a decisive victory. Next, we turn to a showdown between two of KSW's biggest stars, Mamad Khalidov and the monstrous Mariusz Pudzianowski. Pudzianowski began strong, using his size to muscle Khalidov against the cage. However, Khalidov turned the tables with a slick trip, landing himself in a dominant position. Once he secured the back mount, it was game over for Pudzianowski. Another classic mismatch featured Fedor's protege, Kirill Seidlnikov, against the 275-pound powerhouse Martin Soltysik. Soltysik came out swinging wildly, as if Seidlnikov had just challenged him to run a marathon. But when Seidlnikov landed a clean right hand, Soltysik dropped like a barbell after a heavy deadlift. Win or lose, these polished giants prove that they're built differently in the world of combat sports. How much of that success is due to horse meat and gym candy? Who knows? What we do know is that many fighters forget to put their protein gains to good use. And Tomasz Czerwinski was no exception when he faced Catalin Murasanu. Murasanu battered the giant on counters, dropped him like a weight after a final rep, and then knocked him out cold with a sniper-like right hand. If only there were a way to beef up chins, but maybe that's where a bit of body fat comes in, providing some much-needed padding. The next fight, between the shredded Ivan Shturkov and the not-so-jacked Yosabi Inomoto, seems to support this theory. As soon as the fight started, Shturkov muscled his way to a takedown, raining down ground and pound. However, his grappling-heavy approach quickly winded him, and by the time they separated, the muscle-bound fighter was gasping for air. By round 2, Shturkov was exhausted, and Inomoto took advantage by pushing him on the feet before choking him out on the mat like a seasoned pro. Speaking of seasoned pros, Badr Hari, the bad boy of kickboxing, has had a career filled with incredible highs and crushing lows. His rapid dismantling of the towering semi-shilt remains one of his most defining moments. Hari came out swinging, overwhelming the towering semi-shilt with a barrage of brutal strikes. Schilt somehow got back to his feet, but Hari knocked him down again, finishing the job for good. Next up is another Dutch-Moroccan kickboxer taking on a giant, Ismail Lazar versus the 6'5" powerhouse Daniel Sam. In round 1, Lazar charged at Sam like a pit bull defending its territory, catching the bigger man off guard. By round 3, Sam began to leverage his size and strength, slowly taking control of the fight. But just as it seemed Sam was cruising to victory, Lazar landed a devastating left hook that ended the match. Last but not least is the wild 2006 David vs Goliath showdown between Don Frye and the massive Akebono Taro. As soon as the bell rang, the sumo giant charged at Frye like a runaway train, using his immense size to control much of the action. But Frye stayed patient, knowing that the massive weight difference would wear down Akebono over time. Sure enough, by the second round, the exhausted sumo was ready to be finished. Frye took his opportunity, locking in a guillotine choke to secure the win, a hard-fought victory against the much larger opponent. And there you have it, 12 jaw-dropping moments where giants fell to fighters half their size. Which of these stoppages stood out to you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on future content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.